In my last video, I talked about what halal really means and why food discovery is harder than it looks. In this video, I want to slow things down and focus on one specific area where that complexity shows up very clearly: halal restaurant discovery. Not solutions yet, just the problem and why it breaks down in practice. To set the scope clearly, this video is about restaurants only. Halal isn't binary. Standards vary and interpretations differ. That complexity becomes especially visible when people are deciding where to eat. Today, I want to explore why discovering halal restaurants is still so challenging, even when everyone involved has good intentions. Let's start with how people usually approach this today. Most people rely on word of mouth. They check Google Maps, they look at social media, or they ask staff directly when they arrive. None of these approaches are unreasonable. The problem is that while they sometimes work, none of them work reliably. When you step back and look at where things break down, most issues fall into three broad categories: knowledge gaps, supply-side uncertainty, and personal differences in interpretation. Let me walk through each of these, starting with the supply side. Most restaurants don't source ingredients from a single supplier. They work with multiple vendors, each with their own certification status. Suppliers change, certifications evolve, inventory substitutions happen, sometimes unexpectedly. There's also the risk of cross-contamination. Shared grills, cutting boards, and fryers require constant vigilance and clear protocols. And then there's certification itself. Some ingredients are considered naturally halal but aren't certified. Others are certified but not accepted by everyone. This is rarely about bad intent. It's about operational complexity. That complexity shows up in human interactions too. Restaurant owners and staff don't always have full visibility into sourcing or preparation details. Sometimes answers are based on assumptions or partial information, and terms like halal-friendly can mean very different things to different people. Most owners are trying to do the right thing. The system just doesn't give them clear guardrails. From the user's perspective, this leads to behaviors that most people don't actually want. They call restaurants or ask detailed questions about specific menu items and preparation methods. They have awkward conversations with staff who may not know the answers or feel uncomfortable being put on the spot. Even when people get answers, they still have to interpret them through their own understanding and the scholarly opinions they follow. So they cross-reference reviews and social media, relying on unverified or outdated information influenced by differing scholarly opinions and personal comfort levels. And when there's still uncertainty, many people either avoid restaurants entirely or accept some level of risk and hope the information they received was accurate. None of this is a great experience. When you zoom out, a pattern starts to emerge. We rely heavily on intent. We assume restaurants can track everything perfectly and staff can answer every question accurately. Manual, person-to-person trust might work at a familiar neighborhood spot, but it doesn't scale when you're traveling or exploring new places. And while information does exist, certifications, suppliers, preparation methods, it's fragmented. There's no reliable, centralized way to access it in real time. There's a quote that captures this well: "Good intentions don't work, mechanisms do." This isn't a people problem, it's a systems problem. All of these have real consequences. They create anxiety, they lead to inconsistent decisions, they cause people to miss out on options that might actually work for them. Over time, they lead to trust fatigue, not just for users, but for restaurants as well. Restaurants are one side of this problem. Packaged food turns out to be a very different challenge, with its own complexity and failure modes. In the next video, I'll walk through why packaged food discovery is difficult in a different way. Understanding this complexity shapes how we think about the problem, not just what to build, but what not to build.